Yo, 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 yo. Welcome to another episode of Across the Hobby, where we will look at today all of the major auctions in the world of sports cards and memorabilia from January 13th to January the 19th. I'm your host, Adam, at The Real 27 Guy on Instagram, and you can reach me there. Feel free to DM me there. Feel free to leave comments here on this video. I will always respond to all your comments, as long as they're good, and almost all of them are good. So thank you for watching the video today. We are on you'll notice from the outset that this is a shorter video than normal. I wish I could go for as long as usual today, but I've got to take my son to school. Not that you need to know that, but let's get started today by actually doing something a little bit different, by looking at a few of the auctions that ended last week that we looked at. We had a few things that we wanted to look at in particular, and including our top five. This week, as usual, we'll be doing our top five, but I've got to make it go faster today. The first thing I want to point out about results from last week, and we don't usually look at results from last week, but I wanted to do this week. So look at these two cards right here. These both ended at the Fanatics Collect weekly auction. This is something that I was really interested to watch, because on the left, just look at these two right here. On the left, you have the 2009 Topps Chrome Gold Refractor, LeBron James, number /50 in a PSA 9. And on the right, you have the 2005 Topps Chrome Gold Refractor of LeBron James, number /99. The one on the left's a PSA 9, the one on the right's a PSA 10. But as far as rarity goes, there are fewer 9s plus 10s of the 09 than there are just 10s of the 05. So I was really interested to see which of one of these would sell for more. Because this one here on the left is a rarer card, being numbered out of 50, I personally like it more. I like cards where the card itself is rarer. It is twice as rare as compared to this one out of 99. I also think that the image is better, significantly. And then the fact that there's only one PSA 10, there's only 4 PSA 9s, and there's 8 10s of the 05. I just like the 09 more. But there's two things about the 05 that are important to recognize. One is that it's vertical, whereas the 05 or the 09 is horizontal, the 05 is vertical. The other is that even though there are more 10s over here than there are 9s plus 10s over here, it is a 10. And so I was interested to see how the market would value these. I personally, you already know, I place a higher market on this card. I've never owned this card. I don't have any reason to say I like it more. But if I was buying, I would take this card head to head against this 05 any day. And again, that's not to say anything bad about the 05. It's a great, great card. But I'm interested to hear what you guys think. Of these two that sold, do you think it makes sense that, I shouldn't say do you think it makes sense. Of these two that sold, would you rather have, just head-to-head, ignore prices, would you rather have the 09? Would you rather have the 05? On my Instagram, it was way higher on the 09, but it wasn't totally higher. I mean, it wasn't 100%. It was like 90% or 80% were higher on the 09, but would be interested to hear what you guys think about that. Nonetheless, the 05 sold for a little bit more than 20% more than the 09 did. And then as another card that we looked at in great detail last week, this Kobe Bryant National Treasures from 09. This is the first year of National Treasures. Kobe signed it. You get part of the Nike tag. Card's graded a 9.5. Card's got really a lot of things going for it. Checks a lot of boxes. It sold for $19,102. As a Kobe collector and somebody who likes high-end autograph patches and high-end autographs of Kobe, I think this is a pretty good deal on Card Hobby, personally. I would have guessed it would have sold for a little bit more, but I didn't really know. It was just a guess. This isn't a set or an insert that people really think about. But when you think first-year National Treasures, you look at that tag, you look at that autograph, it sort of, to me, felt like, I mean, this is within the range of what I thought was normal, but I wouldn't have been shocked to see it sell for $25,000 or $30,000. I hesitate to talk about numbers because that's where I think a lot of people really get super hypey. I just think that whoever won this got a good deal. I have no idea who did win it. I know a few people who are interested in it. I would like it, but our time and our cash is short sometimes. And then the last two that I want to look at, there were two interesting Jordans that made me kind of realize something, and I want to get your guys' take. These are the two. This one was sold on eBay by Hoodies. I can't pull up the eBay sale on my browser for whatever reason. And this one was sold on Fanatics Collect. I'm not comparing these two cards. They're very different, but I want to show you something that I think is kind of cool. So this one from 98 Encore is interesting. I remember we got one of these in the shop when I worked at House of Cards. Probably, this is probably after my mission. This is probably 2005. I saw one of these walk into the store, and it sold on our bid board on the shop wall. I think it sold for something like $700, if I remember right. And when it came in, we were really perplexed which set it came out of, because we didn't have an easy way to look that up. Right back in the day, it was hard to understand some of those things. It wasn't slabbed, and we looked at it for a while. And after a while, we discovered that it was out of Encore. And I remember I was really surprised that it was out of Encore, because it doesn't look like an Encore card, like at all. Almost all cards that come out of Encore are like on foil board. They look like base Upper Deck with foil, and that's the inserts, that's the base cards. And that's what it was. And so for 98 Encore, you had Upper Deck, I think Series 1 and Series 2. I think that's right. Upper Deck Series 1. And then Series 2 had the rookies, and Series 2 also had the special SPX pack in it, the regular Upper Deck. And then you had the Encore, which was this, this like higher end version of it. But this Jordan was the real biggest card of the product, and it doesn't look anything like Encore. Well, here's what's interesting. Look at this Jordan autograph. This sold at Hoodies, sold for just short of $30,000. It's like 28 grand, and sold last night. This one is out of Ovation, and I don't have the back of it to look at here, but what I think is interesting, and I've never really considered this until this week, neither the Ovation or the Encore have anything on the card that indicates that it would be from that product. And so I sort of had this theory that Michael Jordan, Upper Deck had him sign a number of cards for them for upcoming releases. And then they used those cards, obviously, to help them sell the product. But I don't actually think they knew which product they were going to put them in when they got the cards signed or when they produced them. The fact that this doesn't say anything, that this is not what Upper Deck did. Upper Deck's cards always said what they were from. They always said the set. This doesn't say Ovation. This doesn't say Encore. Well, what's also interesting is this one's serial numbered to 23. This one's from 99, 2000. And this one's not serial numbered, but we know the stated print run was 50. I just think it's interesting. I also think, like, I would, even though this one's the older card, I would far prefer this one, because you see this one very rarely. So I'm not shocked to see it sell for significantly more. It sold for more than 3 times as much as this one. And you see this one a lot more commonly than you do this one. But that's why I would say this is maybe the best 90s autographed Jordan for your buck. Like, best bang for your buck. $8,400 to me on that feels like a really good deal. I know that the autograph here is a little bit darker than you want, but it's still in really good shape. And it looks great in the PSA holder. I think whoever bought this for $8,400, personally, I feel like you got a really good deal. Like, I look at that and I go, ooh, yeah, I could have seen me buy that for that price. I could have felt good about that. And by the same token, this one right here, numbered to 23, a card that you see maybe pop up once a year. It's a key Jordan autograph, especially for autograph collectors of Jordan. So we will stop there on that. Before we go look at MC for the week, I want to also just take a second to point out to those of you who didn't already hear, this week we made the difficult decision to close down Basketball Card Fanatic magazine. You probably already heard of it, but if you haven't, yes, it is. We decided that it was time to close down the magazine, and I'm going to try to do a podcast on this later this week. It was a big part of my life. It's one of the coolest things I've ever done professionally, and something that we worked on really hard for about 4 years and 4 months. The magazine takes so much time and so much effort, but it was ultra rewarding because of the large number, not as large as we would have liked, but the large number of subscribers who loved it. And so after 4 years, we determined that it just took too much time to keep going. But our sponsors were true and strong to the end. So were our subscriber numbers. Our subscriber numbers were constantly getting better. We never printed more than 500 issues of a magazine. That was the most we ever printed. And we sort of bounced around like that 350 to 450 subscribers really for the course of the last few years. And that gave us enough, along with, again, the sponsorship money, to still be a profitable, good business, but it just takes so much time. This video today will probably be viewed by 800 people, 700 to 1,000 people, something like that. And we couldn't get that out of the magazine because magazines are expensive and they're difficult, but people loved it. And so as we sent out options for refunds, because we've obviously held money for people to get refunds on their subscriptions, as we sent out people like options last week, I was really touched by the number of people who wrote notes of like, this is one of the best things that I had to look forward to every month. I loved getting the issue in the mail every month. I loved reading it cover to cover. I had people telling me what their favorite issues were, what their favorite articles were. And it was just a pleasure to run the magazine and to make it into what it was. Some people have been like, how do you feel about it now that it's over? I feel like it was a massive success. I feel like it was a huge success, and I loved it. And I am sad for it to go by. I'm very grateful that I got to be part of it. And I think that there's a chance that you'll see other similar things come along because there is money to be made in it, and because it can be really popular and cool. But man, it takes a lot of work. And we were up to the challenge, but we carried that baton as well as we could for 4 years. Now that's over. So, okay, let's move on. Let's go back to the, here we go. Back to the MC for the week. Now I'm going to do something a little bit different here. I'm actually going to click real fast on the MC monthly showcase. It doesn't end for a whole week, but I personally have 3 big cards that are being sold. Adam, why are you selling 3 big cards? I just bought the LeBron Logo Man card about a month and a half ago, and then the John Stockton 1 of 1 Ultra Masterpieces, first Ultra Masterpiece card. Those are 2 of the 5 biggest cards I've ever purchased, and I don't have a lot of money. I don't have the ability to just go buy stuff whenever I want to. So had to sell some things. I'm selling some cards that I don't feel great about having to sell, cards that I was not looking to sell, but they're the cards that I feel like I can most afford to let go from my collection. And they are this Kobe Bryant right here, this 1 of 1 Superfractor from 2005 Finest. It's the only Kobe Super I've ever bought. I bought it because I wanted a Kobe Super, and I bought it because I've done the math on this, he has like 26 or 27 base Superfractors ever. I joke with people, I think this is one of the worst ones. Because it is PSA 6, and it's a white superfractor rather than just being a superfractor. And 2005 Finest made a few superfractors, right? So, I think they made 5 supers, and then they had 1 insert super. And white, it's not the best one. It's the gold or the regular one are the best ones. After that, they're all pretty even, in my humble opinion. And then being a 6 is not great. I will say, getting it in hand, I didn't look at the card and see anything that looked like it had any damage on it. It is, I think it's like $8,000 right now. Yeah. So it's not cheap, but I paid a lot more than that for it a couple of years ago. Like I said, no intention to sell it, but I just sort of, you've got to find money sometimes. And some people are like, you're selling Kobe for LeBron. What are you doing? I'm not a LeBron collector, but I needed that LeBron card. I needed that LeBron card. That was the one LeBron that I wanted. And so now I got to figure out how to pay for it. And then this one, this card I bought this for $9,500 back in 2020. I watched this card soar to probably be a $250,000 card. It's one of the best ones ever graded by BGS, 3 9.5s and a 10. There's only a few of those out there. Right? It is in great shape. It is a great card. And I've loved it. It's the, spoiler alert, but if you haven't gotten issue 51, we talk about the iconic 25 and 25, the 25 most iconic basketball cards of the century. Like, this is on that list pretty high. It's Kobe's one card that's toward the top of the list. And, he's got rarer parallels. I'd rather have a red. I'd rather have the Superfractor. But the gold is pretty timeless. Outside of the LeBron gold in 03 and then the Steph gold in 09, I think those are the only two golds I'd rather have than this one. I think this is probably third. It's probably fourth in terms of most iconic, right? Kobe's Chrome Rookie is obviously more iconic. Maybe put it fifth behind Durant. I would probably put it ahead of the Durant. I'd put it ahead of the Choctaws. So I'm sad to see that one go too. And then the last one is this quad autograph right here. I got this in a trade for a big Yao Ming card. One of the best Yao Ming cards in the world, the 03 number pieces. And I got this and another card, and then I gave up some cash in the end for it too. But I always liked this because I always wanted a card with all three of those big ones on it. And I love Garnett, and I love that it's numbered 5 of 8. So MC's selling those. Grateful for that, and hopefully they do well. And if any of you end up with one of those cards, and everybody already knew that these were my cards. I'm not showing them off, saying, hey, look at these cards that I have. I do my countdown every year. Everybody knew these ones are mine. I think when people saw them go up, they probably said, oh, hey, Adam's paying for his LeBron and his Stockton card, which is exactly what I'm doing. It's also, I think they should sell for more. We'll see. Than what I need out of those three. I had some other debts from other cards that I bought. So, but that is it for those ones on MC. Tried to go through that fast. Now let's look at the MC weekly. And best way to do that actually in here, I kind of like to do this. Just click on see all and then do ending soonest, and this is one thing that I love that MC does. They always have just the stuff on Monday ending that is part of their MC. I don't have to weed through the other things. And I wish that all the big eBay consigners would make it as easy and clear as MC does. They do a great job of this. We all know about the situation with the Ovechkin. Actually, I don't know where he is right now in terms of the all-time goals scored list. Sort of lost track of that, but it's January. I don't know if he stayed healthy. Need to look at that, but what I do know is he only has a certain number of years of the cup, and then they stop. They sort of go off a cliff, and some of them end up being really low numbered. What I meant to say is he only has so many numbers of limited logos. And this is one of them. It's one of his earlier ones, right, from 07. I know he has one a couple years before that, but this is either his second or his third year from this insert set. Nice looking Luka 1-1. This Steph Curry, I was looking at this. I'm not actually sure this is a 2009, 2010 card. This might be a 2010, 11 card. Somebody do some research for me on this. I just noticed it real quick, and I'll tell you why. It looks to me like a 2009 card, but there's several things in the design elements that made me think of 2009, but it's game used. I don't think Steph had any game-worn stuff in 2009. And see, it has all the data about how he was runner-up for Rookie of the Year. I just don't know it, though. I don't know it well enough to know whether this is 09-10 or 2010-11. I'm not sure, and obviously it doesn't have a flip on it to tell us. What I know is if it's an 09, that is a really cool card. So take some time and see if you can figure that out, because I just think that's awesome. 1-of-1 Brady from 08 National Treasures. People forget that National Treasures debuted in football, and you will not see on here the word Panini because Panini didn't own them yet. It was owned by Donruss. 1-of-1 on the Brady. Man, that's a cool card. Really nice patches on that. Stuff that doesn't have an autograph feels like it has a little bit of a lid sometimes, and I get it. I'm just as guilty as anyone is sort of looking past a card when it's not autographed. But man, that is a neat card. It's a great looking Brady. Wemby, this is the premium factory rookie. Drew Brees. Let's scroll through some of this other stuff I don't know as much about. Always love the PMG champ. This is not PMG champ in baseball, but it is it's the design, the sort of way that we refer to that design as the PMG champ, because basketball leads the way. It's PSA 5. It's a fine grade. It's definitely one of the best Manny cards around. This Drexler is gorgeous. Number 3 of 7. I love that you get these random numbered stuff out of the silhouettes some years. Great looking bench rookie, a PSA 8. This Yao Ming is interesting. As I was looking and sort of doing just a teensy bit of prep last night, as I was looking at this auction, Yao Ming had a really short career. I believe by this point he was no longer active. I want to make 100% sure I'm saying that right, though. I think he had retired in like 2010, 11, I think, which would make this not a playing days card. Yeah. So it's not a playing days card because this is the beginning of Panini shiny stuff era. But 2012 is an interesting year because you've got Prism, you've got Select. Everybody knows about those. And then you have this third chromium type card called Crusade. And the best card out of Crusade was the black 1 of 1. Well, that's what this is. So I already highlighted it's not game used, but go compare this 1 of 1 and what it sells for to like a 2012 Prism Gold, which a lot of Yao collectors think of as like one of his best cards. Remember, Yao doesn't have like a PMG green. He doesn't have the ultra rare parallel that's beloved by the hobby. And so I think even though he wasn't active, people think about that when they look at his 2012 Prism Gold. They don't think about this one that same way. And I wonder if they might. I wonder if people should, because it's a 1 of 1. And because it's one of those 3 premium, one of those 3 chromium sets. Anyway, LeBron 04, great looking patch. I always say 04 Exquisite's my very favorite. PSA 9 on the Jordan. Oh, nice triple autograph here. 2012 National Treasures. Some of these do pretty well, even though they're on stickers. And it's an interesting combination, those 3. This Tatum in the orange is really sharp. I actually really like how this Wemby autograph looks here. You're never going to look at that and think, oh yeah, that doesn't look like it's licensed. It looks like it is. Topps did a really good job on that one. Brandon Miller, really low numbered. Wemby fully outstretched there. 2016, you always see the black ink and you know what year it is, 2016. Kyrie's growing on me in his place in the NBA. Steph, the Deca, first off the line, black gold shimmer out of 8. It's got a long name, but it looks really cool. Really a neat looking card. Stuff like this is kind of fun to watch. Oh, it's a 10 too. Stuff like this is really fun to watch because I don't know how people value it. When you add shimmer, when you add Deca, it's like, it's not the original gold. It's not the original black. It's the black gold. It's sort of like the variation of the variation of the variation. But guess what? It's still really low numbered. It's still Steph Curry. It's still a great looking card. Really cool. Shohei. Some really nice Eminence stuff. Ooh, PSA 9, 77 Topps Kareem. That's interesting. Saw this LeBron last night too. It's a cool card. PSA 10 out of 10. This is the second year of National Treasures. I always say this with LeBron Heat stuff. That's why I bought that Logo Man card, right? LeBron plays with the Heat or starts playing with the Heat in 2010. 2010, he has this, forget that. He plays 2010, 11, 12, and 13. Those are the only 4 years. 2011 is a year that Panini just didn't make a lot of cards because they were getting ready for the rookie year or the big, massive rookie year with 2012 and two different rookie classes. They sort of took it as a year off into game plan and prepare. And it turns out it was the best decision ever because the releases that they came out with in 2012 were some of the best releases that Panini ever did. So it's really like he only has really 3 years of Miami Heat cards. And for me, I look at his years as a member of the Heat, and I feel like those are his coolest years because he's such a villain I didn't like him. I liked him before he went to Miami. He goes to Miami. He wins 2 championships. He beats Durant in Durant's one real chance to win in OKC. Those great years with the Spurs, 2 of the greatest years of championships ever. And the NBA hasn't really been the same since he left Miami in a lot of ways. I mean, he has those great years where it's Cleveland against Golden State too. That's true. But he has so much more stuff with Cleveland, and then he has so much stuff with the Lakers. He doesn't have as much stuff with the Heat. So you might look at this and go, well, that's just a patch card. Yeah, but it's like a variation of the base card. He doesn't have a lot of stuff with the Heat. It's a PSA 10, which is the pop one. Like I said, it's a variation of the base card. I love that card. I didn't mean to take so much time on that card, but there's so many other awesome stuff and so many other awesome cards that are ending. Reggie Jackson, 1/1 autograph logo, man. This is not a rookie, but that is a cool card. Reggie Jackson's had a really underrated career. I'm just scrolling through the rest of these real fast because I've got to hurry. I mentioned I have to take my son somewhere. He woke up not feeling well, so he didn't get to go to Monday morning basketball with me, which was a bummer. I play every Monday morning. Oh, this one's a cool one. Look at this Troy Brown. Some of the stuff in football, they just did neat stuff. They like on the Metal Universe. I would like to see this card without the PMG stuff in the background and see what the design was like here. Why do they leave so much room behind them? On some of these cards, the Barry Sanders comes to mind. There's on his, there's a lion. What is in the background here that we can't see because of the PMG champ design? Okay, we're going to stop there, mostly because we're out of time. Now let's look at Alt. Alt has, I feel like I say this almost every week with Alt. Alt has one of their biggest cards they've ever sold. And I haven't looked at their numbers, but this might end up being the biggest card that they've ever sold. So if you come in here and then you click on auctions, we're not going to look at both auctions, both weeks. We're just going to look at this one that goes from January 3rd to January 16th. So I love this. LaMelo Ball's best card in existence. So this is his National Treasures RPA. And just a few weeks ago, they sold the Flawless RPA. And I told you then, I think this might be his best card because the Flawless is game used. And I believe that, right? I like that it's game used, but it is not viewed in the card community as a better card, either because of the brand or just because people think that the National Treasures RPA just has that heritage of being the best card. That's something that has gone on for a while. You look at Steph Curry's best card from a value perspective, Luka's best card from a value perspective. All of the biggest sales of the RPAs, the Logo Man RPAs, seem to always come from National Treasures. I don't think the National Treasures is as nice as the Flawless. I've already told you that. So with that said, if you want the best LaMelo Ball card in the world as considered by most big collectors, you're looking at it. It's right there. And that's why it's at $147,000 pre-buyer's premium. So there you go. The Tatum, we've seen a couple of these sell recently. It makes me look at this and go, that might be, is it time to buy the Tatum? I've wanted to get this card of Jason Tatum. Why? You have to figure out which cards matter of a given player. I don't want something that's not rare. I want something that's rare. When the dust settles, people are going to look at it and go, that is one of his best cards. And this is that. Most weeks on all, this would be the best card in the auction. Because of the Ball this week, it's not. It's second. But I tell you, of these two cards right here, I love the Tatum. I've mentioned this before. It feels to me like Tatum's like hiding in plain sight as like the next generation's like great player. He's already got a championship. He did it while he was really young. He's got a very complete game. I love how he moves. I love his attitude. I love his love for Kobe. He almost just won so early, But what if he wins again this year? And is there anybody you'd take over Boston right now? I don't know that there is. Don't sleep on Jason Tatum. Some great football stuff. 1/1 green on the Kaboom is a big card. And we don't see too many of these duels sell. It's the Mantle Griffey. The autograph on the Griffey looks really good. It looks to me like this is an original card where both were signed before. Sometimes you get these cards where Mantle signed and then Griffey signed later. The autograph on this one looks pretty good to me. I would look closely at it, see if you agree. But what I'm saying is I believe that this card was pack inserted with both autographs. You don't always know that with these two. You want to see a light Griffey autograph. It's sort of what it looks like to me. Nice looking Jordan 8.5, De'Aaron Fox, number 10 of 99. What's going to happen with Fox? PSA 10. What is going to happen with Fox? Really nice looking Banchero, flawless Star Swatch signature. Great patch, game used, RPA. Anthony Edwards Prism Gold 2023. Big card. And then a card that I've actually gotten 2 different messages from people. Every once in a while, I'll have somebody reach out and say, what do you think about this card? And then when I have 2 people do it, I'm like, heck. Because you never want to be like leading both people into bidding against each other. But it's sort of what happens on a card like this. So the Vince Carter, we're going to make this the last one of the day just because we're low on time. The Vince Carter Gold Prism 2012. Such an interesting card. He is an active player for this easily. Like, I think he played like 7 more years after this set. He's with the Mavs, which was a pretty good stop for him. You'd rather have Vince Carter in a Raptors uniform and then in a Nets uniform. Mavs is probably third, though. You'd probably rather not have it in an SGC holder. You'd probably rather have it like in a PSA holder. But like, man, I look at this one and I sort of say, okay, he has his big rookie cards that everybody knows about. Oops, meant to hide this a while ago. Sorry, guys. Like he's got rookie rubies and his SPX finite spectrum and his credentials, and he has all of those great rookie cards. He has the 24 karat gold, number to 24. And then he's got all those great inserts like the Metal Fusion titanium is what people call it. I call it the Metal Fusion gold. He's got all these great cards, but he doesn't have like that ultra rare parallel that people are like, do you have that, Vince Carter? And I wonder, as like, I believe 2012 Prism, if you know me, you know this. I've always believed in the 2012 Prism Gold set, right? That's why I bought a Steph and I bought a Kobe 5 years ago, right? Like I bought them when I first had the chance. I've been trying to buy a LeBron for 8 years. I have a Garnett too, like the number 5 of 10. I love the set. I've loved it all along. Always believed that this was going to be the next big thing in terms of like big parallel sets. I'm not trying to like sandbag that I have these things and like, or that I don't have these things. Like I've told you guys what I own. You know what I own. You know what I think. Always thought that this is the set of the Panini era. I continue to think that. But you look at a guy like Vince Carter and you go, okay, to Vince collectors, what will this card mean? And you have to try to project that. He's not with the right teams, right? Like you'd rather have him be with these other teams, but he was still active and he doesn't have that like iconic, he doesn't have a PMG red or green. That's what I'm getting at. He doesn't have that. So what is Vince's most, like what is the parallel set that Vince is in that's like the most recognizable or iconic one? People who love the 90s are going to tell you it was probably the Rubies. Like the Rubies set from 98 with Vince is just, I mean, that's just a killer card. Low numbered, great looking. It's lower numbered because it's the rookie portion. I believe that's right. I think I'm telling you the truth about that. It's a great card. I don't think that set's going to end up being as sort of revered. I'm not saying it's not going to be more expensive. It might always be way more expensive. I believe that the 2012 gold set matters more in terms of its place in history by like a lot, by a ton. And sometimes I feel nervous about saying things like that because people are going to be like, you are saying that because you own that. Like, no, I own that because I believe that. I haven't sold those cards partly just because I love them, but in part because I feel like the set has a pretty obvious place in history. So when I look at the Vince, I'm like, man, it's cool. It's really neat. He's such a big name and he has a great collector's base, and there's 10. Anyway, those are my thoughts on that. I hope I didn't get too hypey on that, but I will find watching that one to be really interesting. Every time I see this Jordan, I always think, Are we ever going to care that precious metals didn't start in 1997, that they started a year earlier? And then people were quick to be like, yeah, but those are precious metal gems and these are just precious metals. Okay, I get it. I know. But like Jordan's in the 96 precious metal set. It's a pretty low pop card. In fact, let's look at it real quick. Alt does this great job of telling us this, right? PSA 9, it's a pop 25. There's 10 10s. You know, that's really low number. You know, compare the total pop on this to the total pop of the reds. There's more of these than there are the reds, but it's not like there's 20 of these for every one red. There's not. It's not. These were not easy cards, and when they came out, people didn't realize what they were because they just basically stripped the metal out of the color out of the background and just left it silver. There's nothing on the card that says precious metal. So when these came out of packs, we were like, "Wait a sec, what are these precious metals that are referred to on the front?" We never knew. And then one day somebody was like, "Wait, I think the ones that show up in silver, why is this lacking color?" And then we all went back and went, "Oh, that's what precious metals are." And everybody loves the red and the greens, and they should, and they're infinitely more valuable for a lot of different reasons. But Jordan has a first precious metals card, and it's actually somewhat affordable to a huge percentage of the collector base. I think is really cool. Oh wow, this Steph, second year. What is this? Does this say 10 out of 12? Colossal Materials Signature Steph. This is Gem 10. I'm looking at the back. Why is it numbered 10 out of 12? I didn't know about this card. This is really cool. It's on a sticker. Steph's autograph's not great here. Sort of like runs together a little bit. But like second year Steph, really nice big piece of jersey. The autograph's not perfect, like I said, but it's Steph autograph, and it's numbered 10 of 12, and it's a PSA 10 holder. It's a really unique card. Like really unique. Man, I've got 9 minutes. I got to fly. We got to call it a day on Alt. Sorry, Alt. So Goldin, I've had some problems on this show because Goldin takes up a lot of bandwidth to get everything that you want on clicking on their items on a show like this. And but as I went through the first page, this was the item that really stood out to me. So this 1999 Upper Deck game jersey patch. This is such a historic set. See the word patch here? That really matters because before this set, you never saw patch as like the primary word for a more premium piece. This, and then Fleer did it and Topps did it, really drove how our language changed forever about on in the hobby. Some people, some old heads, people like me who've been around for a really long time, you'll hear them say patch or you'll hear them say jersey. Some of them have sort of converted to the newer language, which is just everything that has a swatch on it can be called a patch. I will never switch on that because I was raised as at this point I'm 20, I'm in my early 20s, and this set was like, wait, what? There's a more premium part, and you've seen cards like this, not that look just like this Jordan with this image of Jordan, because the only one of these that exists is the patch version. But you've seen other jersey cards that have like a plain jersey. This is the patch, and if you go to PSA, I'm gonna just go type this in. Actually, no, I don't need to. I'm on Alt. I can just look at it. On Alt, you can see. Actually, why can't I see? Maybe I'm crazy. I don't see Alt's normal pop data right there. It's probably right in front of my face, and I'm just missing it. Ooh, this is a really interesting, a really new grade one, a really newly graded card too. It's in the 100 millions. So, gosh, and of course I typed it in wrong. You knew I was going to type it in wrong, didn't you? 101544. Oh, there's another 4. There's 4 4s, not 3. This is a pop 1 with 2 higher. That's a huge card. I would take this over a lot of Michael Jordan autograph cards. I would, because it's rare. It's rarer than a lot of his really rare inserts, and I think it's a really important moment. I don't have any money, but I would like to bet on that. So that we're gonna end it there for Goldin this week, just with that Jordan card. Okay, when we get to Fanatics Collect, I point out here you get this really good image of like all the different auctions that they have coming up, and I love these previews that they do here. The premiere is happening, so go take a look at premiere if you haven't already. Some huge stuff. We will look at premiere in depth next week. By we, I mean you and me, me and everybody who watches this. So for Fanatics Collect, you're going to see another Shengun, another big Shengun. And people would say, like we saw on the LaMelo Ball, that this is the best Shengun in the world because this is the National Treasures logo man RPA. He is balling with Houston. And I love watching him because he's old school. He's tough. He's big. He's a problem. And he's highly, highly skilled. He's highly, highly skilled. So, you know what? I just got a message. This is real time. Really great. Me doing great content. My son said, he said, I'm not going to go to school. My teacher said I could do the test both tomorrow at lunch, which is good. I've started to feel worse. I think it's a good idea. So hate to see your kid sick. That stinks. I'll go take care of him here as soon as we finish this episode. And I'm just to try to keep it kind of short, especially because I flew through those first ones. Shengun's maybe his best card in existence, and by some people's opinion, it is his best card in existence. I will say, as this pulls up, one thing that you're going to notice on this card that they really did right is, let me get a really great view of this. Look at that patch window, guys. I think that's holofoil, isn't it? It looks so similar. Is it all holofoil? This is one where I'd really like a video. I think it is. Pretty sure it is. I think this is holofoil. I think this is holofoil. And it's the 75th anniversary patch, too. His autograph's perfect on it. But the thing that is interesting to me about, and I already alluded to this just a bit, Shengun has all of these big cards going to auction at all these different auction houses. It's like people have sort of decided, hey, the Rockets are good. Let's cash out. Well, that might be the right thing to do if you're like just looking to maximize value. There's a good chance of that. They're really good, though. Like the Rockets are really good. What if people are cashing out just in time for the Rockets to like come together as a team and put together this like 8-year run of this awesome group that's like going to go compete for championships and stuff. Like they're really good. Thompson, Green, Shengun's in the middle of all of that. Like they're a really good team. They're not a flash in the pan team. This isn't the situation where you get like an NFL quarterback who gets super hot for a second and you need to drop him like a rock. Like Shengun has a good chance to be like a top 10 player in the league for a long time. I'm dead serious about that. He's really good. So I question whether dumping all this stuff at the same time is smart. I watch him and go, gosh, I'd like to own some of his stuff. But I just don't do a lot of this rookie stuff these days because there is such risk associated with it. But you tell me and come back in 10 years and tell me that's like one of the better cards that you could have bought from this whole era. I wouldn't be even like a tiny bit surprised. I just love how he plays and I love the card. Even though I already said I like flawless logo man autographs better because I like the game use nature of the rookie card. That 75th anniversary is really cool. It's from the brand that everybody loves. That's a great grade. It's a great autograph. Like that's a great card. All right. Let's stop talking about the Shengun. Triple Superfractor. Messi, Neymar, and Suarez. Wow. That's cool. The Jordan Molten Metal Fusion at a 250. BGS 9 is a nice strong grade on that. Great looking Wemby orange. Most people will never have a chance at a gold, obviously. Well into the six figures. An orange and a PSA 10 is a big card. Great looking Crosby. In general, I'm going to click on that one and we'll look closer. I've seen this Kobe sell a couple times recently. I don't know if it's the same copy. I would look back and see if it's the same copy. Make sure it's not a relist. Relists throw everybody off, man. Whenever people don't pay, it's a problem. Pop 1 of 9 on the Thunder and Lightning. Kobe. We saw one of these sell maybe like 6 months ago. I want to look at this Jeter real quick. I think that one might have an interesting story. This Kobe we can take a look at too. That also has an interesting story. And is that a PS? Oh, that's a PSA 10 on the X Fractor. It's a big card. The Jordan LeBron Duo Marks PSA 7. Love that. Love not paying for the grade. Let's look at that one too. We're going to skip the Kobe Gold. That's how strong this auction is. A Kobe Gold Refractor PSA 10. I spent forever talking about the LeBron 05, but I'm going to skip right past the Kobe, even though this one's one of 12, right? It's not quite as rare, but close to as rare as that LeBron. Let's do one more page. You guys have probably noticed this by now, but you know what? I forgot to do the top 5 again. Dang it. I messed up. I already closed down Alt. I already closed down some of the other ones. Oh, shoot. I ruined that. Oh, well. I'm just going to keep going here. So the cut above Jordan. What I started to say is and I feel like I'm finding my groove in this just a little bit, although I forgot what I was doing today. I like looking for stuff that doesn't sell often. I like looking for stuff that's really unique and highlighting that in the show. And I love the idea of the top 5s. In fact, I am going to go back and I'm still going to find the top 5s. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do that. I'm going to put it on the outside though. So when you look at the thumbnail today, you'll see it. I'm not going to talk through them. I'm just going to, put them on the thumbnail. PMG red of Nash 7.5. Newer grade, you can see that because it's a silver, and back in the day it would have been white. I love the All-Star jersey here on the Jordan autograph. The apparitions of Wemby just makes me smile every time seeing that logo. First year of the Kaboom for Kobe, 9.5. There's one ending tonight on eBay that's a pretty big number. I think a lot of people are really watching Kabooms right now, getting a lot of messages on those types of cards, I should say. 2013, another Kaboom. This is LeBron, a lot lower grade. His first Kaboom card, nonetheless. Threw that into Kaboom, man. I don't understand why people are sensitive to grade still, but this T-Mac. I'm glad we made it to this page because I love this T-Mac. We're gonna highlight that one. It's like one of McGrady's best cards. And should we call it there? What is this Jordan? Oh, this is cool. Don't see one of those every day. All right, let's highlight these ones. So 05, Sidney Crosby. Make this one quick. People get so focused on the cup, or in basketball's case, exquisite, but sometimes you find other cards that are rarer, parallels of base cards or variations of base cards that are just as cool, have just as good, nice of patches, just as nice of autograph places, that they don't have the same name on the brand and they sell for way less money. And I choose those cards as a collector every time. Like, I love the Sidney Crosby, the Future Watch. When you see Future Watch, okay, this is actually like a variation of the base set, and that's confirmed by the jersey, by the number over here. So if you look at the SPA Sidney Crosby rookie, you'll see that it's numbered 181. And this is like a variation of that. But this variation comes with a patch where the regular rookie card doesn't. So let me scroll in here. You can see the cards numbered over here on the side to, you know what? My eyes are not very good. It looks like it's out of 100 though. That sounds about right to me. In 05 basketball, they did the same thing. I think they did 2 different versions in basketball. They did one that was 25, and then the first 100 of the rookies they did were patches as well. The autograph here is nice, blue, 3-color, 4-layer patch, parallel, or like I said, variation of the base set. You can see the word limited here. I love that card. I do. I love that card. If it was basketball, I would tell you the same thing. I would look at it and say, I understand that everybody likes the exquisite. This card gives you all the other things except for without the exquisite name. And I love that it was far rarer. And I actually love that because in SP Authentic, the cards were generally really thin. This card, I promise you, whoever opened the box immediately saw the pack or felt how rigid the pack was. And they were like, okay, there's a big card in here. And they opened it. So I love that Crosby. Well, I wanted to look at this Jeter. Bear with me for a second. If we go into the Beckett pop report. Where did it go? I had it up here. Now it's gone. If we go into the Beckett pop report, I want to show you guys something. So if you haven't looked at it before, for PSA, this is one of the 3 hardest 10s to get of the 100 most graded cards in Beckett's or in PSA's history. In Beckett, it's also really hard to get a 9.5. And my guess is if we come into gosh, I'm having a hard time talking and doing things at the same time. If we come into Beckett's graded card lookup, we will see that a 9.5 is obviously a hard grade. My guess is the vast majority have a 9 subgrade. That's my guess. I don't know that that's true, but I believe that is true. Make sure my son, yep, yeah, he's definitely staying home. Okay, let's see, 1154317. Okay, so Derek Jeter, this card right here, all 9.5. So there are 276 9.5s, no 10s, no 10 black labels. Okay, and by that same token, if we go to PSA, we say, okay, PSA pop report of 1993 SP baseball. If we do that, we're going to find out that when we search Jeter, card number 279, okay, we're going to find out. So for PSA, there are a total of 22 10s ever. And that's especially crazy because there are 25,400 that have been graded. That's less than 1 in 1,000 are 10s in PSA. And that's why we have seen this card, this exact same card in that ultra elite high grade, sell for well into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. I think the highest one is like 600 grand or something. Now, some people are going to say that's dumb. It's only because of a grade and buy the card, not the grade. And that's how I collect too. But there is the fact that a lot of people really want to get the highest grade of the most iconic cards. And I'm not going to look down on them for that. That's what they do. And it's a big part of our hobby. When you look at the edges on this, it's a darn good looking card. It's a really, really good looking card. If you look at a lot of these, you're just going to notice lots of stuff going on most of them. Okay. And on the back, same thing, man. It is a great looking card. Not perfect around either of the bottom corners, but really nice. And it's like I said, it's one of the most iconic baseball cards, really, since the Griffies, right? The Griffies in '89 that everybody loved. You can make the case this is the most iconic baseball card since then. There hasn't been anything else that's as iconic since. Okay, so it's a BGS 9.5, right? That's great. And the PSA 10, 22 of them are 10s out of 20, almost 26,000 graded. Here, I'll show you the math here. 22 10s, about 20. You have to add these 3 columns together. You get to about 26,000, 25,400. Less than 1 in 1,000 is graded a 10. Okay, so what if we ask the question, how many of them are 9.5s? In Beckett, well, you're like, Adam, we already did that, you dummy. There's 276. There's 10 times as many. Well, there's fewer graded. There's 18,000 graded. And, oh, hey, sweetie, I'm recording. I'll be out in a little bit, okay? Thanks, princess. You guys are getting the full kid treatment today. I'm talking about my son and my 3-year-old walking in. So you can see 18,723 are graded. Okay, no 10s, 276 9.5s. So there's over twice as many 9.5s as there are 10s in baseball. And there's fewer by about 25%. There's fewer here. So to a lot of people, they're going to just stop and they're going to say, oh yeah, it's just way easier. And that's why it's way less money. And that's fine. But that takes us to what I wanted to do. So if you click on this, shoot, I can't come from this angle or this place. They don't. Card data. Accept and close. Copies graded. This is not actually everything that I want from them right now. What I want is And I can do this back here. Actually, I'm just going to show you guys what I do. I think a lot of people probably left early today on this show because I had to rush. So for those of you who are still here, if I come in here and I just do 1993 SP and then I hit Jeter, I think that should get us there. Yeah, so we get this, and that is where we see these thousands of cards. Now, what's kind of cool is if we come in here to the 9.5s and we click on that, we're going to get a complete list of all of them, right? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open, this is something that's unrelated to cards, and I'm going to pull this open over here, and I'm going to just copy all of this. This is going to take a minute. I hope it's worth it. I think it's kind of a cool research project, so we're going to do it. I'm going to copy these, all of these over to here. Did I get all 276? Oh, nice. I think I did. Nice. 276 record. Awesome. So now we're going to bring it back over here, and we're going to do this work together. So on these 276, so you can see 276 records found. That's how many total there are. This is every Beckett cert ever dropped into Excel with all of their grades. Now, my question is, if we, like, I want to know how many of them are true gems. Like all 4 subgrades are 9.5 or higher. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to basically come into this point right here. I'm on the wrong screen to do this, but that's okay. I'm going to sort first by E. And when I do that, there's only one with centering that gets cut out, right, of the 200 and whatever. So now, and there's a whole bunch of 10s in there too, which is great. So then I'm going to hit data, sort again, and I'm going to do it by F. And I bet you that there's going to be more than one this time. What do you guys think? There's a whole bunch of 9s. A whole bunch of 9s. Now we've got these ones. So we just eliminated 190 from being true gem candidates. And then lastly, we have, well, not lastly, excuse me. We're going to sort by G here. When we sort by G, we're going to get a bunch more because I think that's edges, isn't it? And then last but not least, we have surface. The numbers getting really small here. Sort by H. When we sort by H, we're going to cut off a bunch more, and we are left with a grand total of 20. That is awesome. There are 20 cards in Beckett's history that they have graded with all 9.5 or higher subgrades of this Derek Jeter card. And this is what makes me think, like, I look at this and I go, okay, wait a second. Like, so there are 20 copies. Now you could take this a step further, right? And you could say, well, how many of them have 10s? How many of them have 2 10s? Some of them, you can look down here at the bottom, there are a few with 2 10s. There are three different copies that have 2 10s. I don't think there's any more. Notice that there's none that have 10s in the 2 middle columns. There's not a 10 in those 2 middle columns on these top 20. But there are some with centering of 10 and surface of 10. All of them come out to a 9.5 in the end. But here's the bottom line, okay? Here's the bottom line. So we know that for, oh my goodness, for Beckett, we know that there are 276 9.5s, right? That's not what we need to look at. That does not matter. Forgive me. Let me scroll up here. For Beckett, there are 18,689 cards that have been graded, and 20 of them are true gems. And for PSA, there are, oh gosh, where did I put that? Bear with me. For PSA, there are a lot higher. we're going to go with, there's 20, we're just going to do some high level math here. So 25, 4, there's like 25,500. And there are, how many of them were 10s? Was it 22? 22 10s. So the true gem rate is just a little bit over 0.1% for Beckett, and just a little bit under 1% for PSA. And so PSA is rarer, significantly rarer on a percentage basis, by about, we're talking by, by that amount, 0.02%, which is, on a percentage basis, 20% rarer. Like, it is 20% harder to get a PSA 10 out of, of this Derek Jeter card than there is of getting a true gem. It's harder. There are actually less of the Beckett 10s, but it is harder to get that PSA 10 on a percentage basis. I don't know when the last time either one of these places graded one. It's probably been, actually, that would be kind of an interesting thing to look at. Of these 20, which one's the most recent? And this 1532 right here is going to be the most recent. So that was graded, 1532. I can just scroll to the end here, can't I? 1532. So this one was graded on, this one was graded at the beginning of 2 years ago. So almost exactly 2 years ago. Since a Derek Jeter 10 that was a true gem was graded, it's been 2 years ago. And who knows if PSA has done it in years. I'm not sure. We could try to figure that out with gem rate, but I want to just point out here, and I know I've taken forever doing this, but you look at these two Derek Jeters here, and on one of them, you have a card that people view as like several $100,000 and one of the biggest cards in the hobby. And then on the other one, graded by the other company, you actually have relatively, they're both almost impossible to get. But you have relatively similar rates and almost exact same populations, but people don't think of it like that. And so they don't sell for nearly as much. If it really is all about the card, I personally think save yourself a few $100,000 and go get that true 9.5. And that's, to me, as I do all that math, I just sort of look at it and I go, I don't understand why this other one would sell for way, way more. People talk about the PSA guarantee and all these other things, and that's all fine, but it's not a rare card at all. It's just rare to find in that condition, and it's almost identical in terms of rarity. But one costs hundreds of thousands of dollars, and the other one, is at $5,000. So it'll be interesting to see what it sells for. All right. Thanks for bearing with me on that. And we'll leave all those Beckett ones open just in case we want to come back to it. This Kobe is actually a huge card. The Vivid, I've only ever owned, I think, one card from this set. I think I owned a Scottie Pippen from this set. The Vivid, or the Soar Subjects, is not a hard card to find. Or is it? Sorry. I always forget which is the parallel aspect of this and which is the insert aspect. 99 Focus had this pretty simple, it's not simple, it's a great looking insert set called Soar Subjects, SOAR, right? And it's like I think it's like a 10 card set. It's not crazy hard to get. They were probably like one per box or one in every other box or something like that. But what was impossible to find was the parallel of that with this big sparkly V, which stands for Vivid. And then if you go to the back of the card, you can see that it's serial numbered. It is cool in person. I remember looking at my Pippin going, this is cool. I got it in a huge collection and I needed to sell it to help the person, but I wanted to keep it because I thought this is a really neat card. And I don't think you see this set very often. And all these years later, I feel the same way. You just don't see the set hardly ever surface. Hardly ever. This LeBron Jordan doesn't, isn't a great image right here. They probably should have done this with a white background. But the good thing is you can still see the autographs perfectly. You can still see this great looking 13 of 25 serial number. But these images of Jordan and LeBron would show up a lot better with a white background. PSA 7 with a 9 autograph. And then we've got 2 more cards. I had to pull up this T-Mac. This really is one of the nicest T-Mac cards you'll ever see. Both because I think his Rocket stuff is really cool. Like, he did big stuff with the Rockets. I'm not trying to take a shot at T-Mac, but some of his best teams, his best playoff success was with the Rockets. Got so close to breaking through with them. And I think we always wanted to see the Rockets at their strength and the Lakers at their strength sort of meet each other. As a Jazz fan, I sort of identified that the Rockets, the Jazz, and the Lakers had this like rock, paper, scissors thing going where the Rockets, the Jazz just own the Rockets. Those Darren Williams, Mehmet Okur, Carlos Boozer, Henri Kirilenko teams were just a problem because Shane Battier was so good for the Lakers or against the Lakers and against other teams with great wings, and the Jazz had no great wings, so they didn't know what to do with Battier. He just didn't have his normal defensive success. And Shane Battier is one of the greatest players ever that people don't realize how great he was defensively. The way he changed the game was, you go look back at the defensive numbers for Battier. He's really one of the best defenders ever. But T-Mac was unreal. He was one of the best offensive players I've ever seen. And like the Jazz had Henri Kirilenko to guard him. But what if T-Mac and the Rockets would have gotten matched up against those Lakers teams first? I don't know, man. With Yao in the middle, like, I don't know that the Lakers could have beaten the Rockets. I think the Rockets with Battier there guarding Kobe would have been really, really a tough out. And we never found it out because the Rockets would get beaten by the Jazz, and then the Jazz would go play against the Lakers, and the Lakers just owned the Jazz. Kobe just owned the Jazz. He was marvelous. Kobe was to watch. But for whatever reason, the Jazz just, man, they had T-Mac and Yao's number. And so we never got to find out how great these guys could have been had they faced the Lakers first. Why do I tell you all that? Well, of all of his big exquisite stuff, the stuff from 2009, where they were about to, have to stop producing cards, the biggest stuff from 2009, we just never see it hit auction. Never see it. Because they only made they only made what they could. So most years of limited logos are numbered to 50. Some years to 75. This one's to 13. Look at that patch. The other thing that I'd highlight about T-Mac that I think most people don't know is that he's highly collected because he played with Yao. People don't realize how much Yao did for the game, how much Yao did for Tracy McGrady's collectability. You look at a lot of big Rockets collectors from China, and they'll have like 2 main guys in their collection. You know who they are. They're Yao and T-Mac. All right. Yeah, this Jordan. I think I've seen this a few times pop up over the years. It's sort of interesting that it hasn't just stuck somewhere because if this got to my collection, it would just stick. It's a great tag of MJ. Like it's a clear tag patch jersey. In fact, what does it say? Oh, look, it says exactly what I just said. Tag patch jersey. So this is classic Upper Deck. This is what we think of when we think of a tag. This is what we think of when we think of a patch. And this is a jersey. And if you look at the back, you're going to see it is jersey worn by Michael Jordan in NBA games. Interestingly, this is not as they were about to lose their license. This is 2005, 2006. You see a lot more of this stuff right as they were about to lose their license and they needed to get rid of all the materials. But this is key Jordan, like key Upper Deck era. Like 05 was prime years and they were crushing the hobby and doing amazing stuff. I love that card. All right, we're going to call it a day there on Fanatics Collect. We're going to move to Card Hobby. Last week, we had that giant Kobe that I was so excited to see sell. And this week, there's a lot of other great stuff. This is just sorted highest to low by bid. Halliburton, I always forget about the Logoman RPA and Spectras because they didn't do it every year. I want to look at that one and see if we can glean any other information from it. Kobe Chronology, 81 of 99. 81, kind of the Kobe number. Let's look at that one too and see if we can figure out what game that was from. Kobe tag on, or it's not an auto. Kobe with the Lakers tag. Okay. I saw the logo, man. I didn't see the Lakers. I want to look closely at that one. 1/1 on the Kobe autograph. The shoes autograph. This is the year that they did Panini Eminence Kobe product. What is that at the end of Kobe's autograph? That there. Is there something else? Does that say USA? Oh my goodness, that's a big card. I'm just like highlighting all the Kobe's in this auction. There's so many great ones. I want to talk about this Durant. And we might stop there for Card Hobby this week. Oh, what about this one? Gosh, I can't miss that one. Man, there's some big stuff for Card Hobby this week, guys. When I first looked at it, I sort of missed a couple of these, but there's some big cards. Vince Logo Man, too. Okay, let's do one more. Oh, Amen Thompson. Amen Thompson's big stuff is interesting right now, and that's a big card. I don't really have anything else to say about it. It's his gold Prism rookie. Everybody knows about that one. Oh, the Gala Kobe. I've done enough Kobe's. Oh, the Duncan and a 9.5. That's a big card right there. I went sold one of those for I think it was like $9,000. Really a neat Derrick Rose here. Sample, not for resale. What is that? Yeah, there's some great stuff up on Card Hobby this week. I used to own one of these Yaos. It was a beautiful card. It's got 17 hours to go. It's almost $2,000 already. Oh, the 2014 Gala Kobe. Gosh, I gotta look at that. And then look, another one of these big Duncans. This isn't like as good of a set as that last one, but okay, I've got a number of big cards here that I want to talk about. Okay, so this Halliburton, I just want to look at it. You obviously have the rookie logo. It is the full logo, man. Was it worn by him in anything, or is it one of those that's like, so the enclosed officially licensed material is not associated with any specific player, game, or event. The autograph is guaranteed. So this could be straight off the rack at Dick's. Yeah. But as far as Spectre goes, that's probably about the coolest rookie card you're ever going to see. And it is really cool. $13,000. One of the biggest guys, one of the biggest young stars in the NBA today. Okay, so this Kobe that's 81 out of 99. I just had to double verify. I can't remember what year he signed or he scored 81. I think it was 2006. How cool would it be if this Timeless Memories card, which references a specific game, was in reference to when he scored that 81 points? I can't tell which jerseys these are over here. I do know this is a great image. There's a great image of Kobe. I'd be interested to know when that game's from. I'm sure it's not the 81-point game. If it was, that's like one of the coolest Kobe's out there. Okay, I wanted to look at this because you don't see this patch very often, this Lakers patch. And then the thing on this logo, man, is I did research on this once upon a time. And if I'm not mistaken, this version has Authentics across it, was on the tag mostly just for his championship years. It started in I don't remember, like 98 or 99. And then it went through like all three of the Lakers championship years, and then it stopped shortly thereafter. So there was like a better than not chance that tag is actually from a championship jersey, because there's different logo men that have been used on the laundry tags. And then the Lakers thing, I don't know where that comes from. Maybe a pair of shorts or something. Does it say anything on the back? Enclosed, game worn, blah, blah, blah. No. It's cool that you don't often see a Kobe tag or patch anywhere in this realm that's not autographed, right? But this one, is it a 1/1? What is it? Out of 5. 3 out of 5. There on the back. It's a neat card. Okay, what would you rather have? Would you rather have the autograph with the USA? Ugh. Would you rather have that? Whew. 4 out of 149. I think I remember on these, it's like the first 10 or the first 20 or something. It was the first 5. Just those ones have the USA inscription. Would you rather have that or the one we were just looking at? Man, that's a tough choice. I need to know how many of these are signed USA to make that decision. I generally am an autograph guy. I'd take the autograph probably. Okay, Durant. What year was this? 2018-19. What year did the Warriors win their last championship? I forget if their championship tag now says 6 or 5. What's for sure is that Durant won championships in Golden State. That's the only place he's won championships. So if you want to own a championship tag auto of Kevin Durant where he actually made a difference to the championship, this is it. If you were to get one where he was with, I guess they don't have one. They didn't have one with the Thunder. The Nets, do the Nets have a championship tag? I don't think they do because their championships were in the ABA, right? And then now, I don't know. I just know that's a really cool card. And Kevin Durant's 2 championships were with the Warriors. I used to own one of these. That is a really cool triple patch. Serial number out of 10, out of exquisite, the big 3. If it was 3 autographs rather than 3 patches, it would be 6-figure card. I used to own one of these Duncans. Is considered by a lot of Duncan collectors as like one of his key, maybe his key playing days autograph. Both of the trophies there early in his career. The autographs on these aren't usually very spectacular, but the card is special. You can just feel it's the moment, it's the era, it's the refracting, it's the fact that it's signed. The whole set is really nice. I love it. And then the last one was this Kobe Gala. I wanted to pull this one up because this is like the key autograph set out of 2014. I think they're numbered out of 40. Is that right? It's numbered out of 40 right there on the front. Yeah, number 33 of 40. Yeah, I always loved Gala. I didn't know the insert sets as well as I could have, though. This one, I think, is one of the better known insert autograph sets from that first run. Guys, I will drop my top 5 in the thumbnail. Thank you for watching today. Thank you for downloading. Thank you for liking. And I really appreciate you guys' feedback on the show. It's going really well, and I'm grateful for all of your support. And if you have any questions or any comments, please leave them in the chat. Again, please like, subscribe, comment, all those things. I keep doing it every week, and watch for more content on my Instagram at The Real 27 Guy. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.